All right. We're all getting connected right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me make sure that we're recording. I am recording. Awesome. All right. I don't know my way around Zoom, so I'm getting familiar. All right, we're going to start in like 3 minutes. We'll start at 6:33, just to give a few minutes for people to get logged in. There we go. Everybody could see my messages, right? I might be sending some screenshots in there.
I can hear you
Perfect. Could hear me. Got one more person signing on.
and I can see you.
The only person I see. I'll just stare at myself the whole time.
You're beautiful. I would stare at you.
Thanks. All right, Lisa. Hello. Yeah, so you guys could all stay on mute, of course, but feel free to come off mute at any point and chime in, speak up, ask a question. Cool. Got a couple more. All right, we're going to start in 1 more minute. Muted. Awesome. All right, so I kind of just been collecting questions myself, kind of just been poking around these last couple weeks, asking you guys some questions. I didn't really get many questions on my comments on Facebook, so I kind of just gathered some pretty common and I don't know, maybe general questions. But of course, at any time, if you have anything more specific or more personal that you guys want to talk about more one-on-one after this seminar, shoot me a message and let's set something up at the gym more one-on-one so we could kind of talk more in depth about like your goals and your nutrition and like your in-body readout and all that stuff. Like if you have more specific things towards you. Okay. All right. So I kind of broke it up into, I did mostly nutrition and then I threw some training questions in there too at the end. But we're going to start it off with nutrition. And I'm going to start off with a pretty heavy one, which is how much protein do I really need per day to gain muscle, especially while trying to lose fat? So, how much protein do you really need? And I feel like that's a very common question because that's all we've been hearing lately is protein, protein, protein. That's all you should be doing for everything, every single day, every single minute is eating your protein. But how much do you really need? Because yes, of course, you could be overdoing it. So let's get into that. It sounds very simple, but the answer is quite complex because the answer, of course, is that it depends, unfortunately. How much protein you actually need depends. It depends on your current weight, your goal weight, how much lean body mass that you already have. But there is a general rule of thumb for how much protein that you might need that you probably may have heard of, and that is around zero point 0.6 grams to zero point 0.8 grams of protein per goal body weight. So I'm going to write this in the chat too. It's so hard. I don't have like flashy graphics on my thing or like closed captions for you guys to, stay engaged. So I'm going to try to type some things up too. And that was zero point 0.6 grams to zero point 0.8 grams of protein per goal weight.
For goal weight.
Per goal weight.
Goal
Your
weight.
goal weight. So now with that being said, your goal weight within a reasonable range, right? So The very most important step to anything when determining how much protein that you actually need is figuring out where you are currently at. Okay, because I'm just going to throw random numbers out there that might not even make sense. But if I weighed 150 pounds and my goal weight was 120 grams of protein, or my goal weight was 120 pounds. So I'm aiming for about 1 pound or 1 gram of muscle per protein, 1 gram of protein per muscle. I'm shooting for 120 grams of protein, okay? But if I'm consistently only hitting like 50 to 60 grams of protein a day, and then all of a sudden I start eating 120 grams, that huge influx of calories, of protein, of anything is going to put your body in shock and it's going to leave you feeling super, super uncomfortable. So, your first step in determining on where your protein should be is figuring out where you're at right now. So, you need to have like a solid 3 to 5 days where you're not restricting any calories and you're just eating as you normally would your every day and just seeing where you fall every single day with your protein. So if there's one thing not to overwhelm you with nutrition, just start with your protein and for the next 3 to 5 days, track how many grams of protein that you're getting every single day. It might shock you that you might be getting a lot, like way more than you expected. Or, 9 times out of 10, you will probably find that you are severely under eating your protein. So kind of see where you're starting at right now. And if you're maybe somewhere where you're around 80 to 100 grams, you have to start to slowly increase that protein to get to that goal grams of protein, if that makes any sense. So you can't just suddenly shoot all this protein, all these extra calories, and expect magic things to happen because probably the exact opposite. You're probably going to be feeling pretty bloated, gassy. Kind of have some notes here. You're uncomfortable, especially, when you're trying to hit your protein goals and they're not coming from very good sources. So you're getting kind of desperate and you're reaching for like protein bars and a lot of powders. So that too can make you kind of feel uncomfortable. Your body's not really breaking down that much protein because it's not used to it. So your digestion actually slows down. And you kind of feel like burnt out on trying to eat so much protein. So my first suggestion is start slow. Find out where you're at and increase that slowly. Okay, so I have some tips on how to kind of increase your protein without putting your body in too much shock. And these are some easy things that you could do, which is add one protein-rich snack first. So like a shake, yogurt, eggs, or like a deli roll-up. So I always like to say, start off pretty strong in your morning with your protein. So you're not kind of making up for it at the end of the day. So start off strong with protein. Start tracking or estimating your protein, like I just said, for awareness and don't restrict. So kind of just see where you're at and then use like a goal range instead of like a direct target. So instead of saying 125 grams on the dot, maybe say like 115 to 125. So aim for like a range more so like exact target. Start small, be consistent, and you have to build the habits because that is how sustainable muscle growth and fat loss actually happens, especially when you're juggling a busy life. Okay. Start small, be consistent, build habits. My next question, which is a very heavy hitter, is can you build muscle while in a calorie deficit? Should your focus be on building muscle or losing fat? And can you do both at the same time? Can you build muscle and lose fat at the same time? And the answer to that question is yes. Yes, you can. You can build muscle in a calorie deficit, but again, it depends. Of course, it depends. It depends on everything. It kind of depends on, oh, sorry. Kind of depends on where you're at, and where you're at in your lifting, like your experience level and your current protein intake. So I have a screenshot that I'm hoping that I can send over in this chat of super basic of a super basic starting point. Oh, I cannot minimize this. Okay, hold on. Maybe I could drag this. Yep. Okay, just sent something over in the chats, and it's kind of like a little chart. Most of us are going to fall in that first and second category, not so much the advanced lifter one. So kind of new to lifting and you want to lose around 20 to 30 pounds. This is where you're going to start in that calorie deficit. I'm going to mute you, Lisa. Okay, perfect. All right, let me get my notes back out. Sorry, everything's all over the place. All right, so losing fat and building muscle at the same time. This is called a body recomposition. So this is most likely for the people that are kind of new to strength training. That's what you'll see a lot is when people start strength training, they kind of lose fat and build that muscle pretty rapidly. If you haven't been eating enough protein consistently or haven't trained with intensity or structure in a while. So any or all the above could be true to lose fat and build muscle at the same time. So the three non-negotiables for body recomposition is you have to be in a slight calorie deficit. And that means not starving yourself. Okay. So you can't be severely under eating where you're not giving your muscle a chance to grow. So you have to make sure that you're in that slight calorie deficit. About 200 to 500 calories a day is pretty reasonable for most of us. You have to make sure that you're strength training 3 to 4 times a week, which most of us, if not all of us, are. And the third non-negotiable for a losing body fat and gaining muscle at the same time is protein. Protein is the missing link. It's the essential for recovery, feeling full, and preserving your muscle while you're in that calorie deficit. So I know it's challenging to lose body fat and gain muscle at the same time, but this is probably what it looks like. The scale is not going to move fast. It's not going to move as fast as you want it to. It's going to be more slower. And that's unfortunately how our progress tends to be. The inches might drop though, and your clothes might fit better. So of course, it's always, I would say, more important too to keep metrics on those too. So always take pictures of yourselves. I always tell people to take kind of before pictures, even if you don't show anybody at all. Seeing pictures definitely helps because the scale isn't always your friend when you are trying to sustain fat loss and build muscle. Okay. You might feel stronger and more energized. And like I said, the progress shows up in your body scans. And yeah, it depends on how you feel. Go somewhere of how you feel more than the scale, especially the scales that you have at home that don't tell you your muscle mass and your water weight and all that good stuff. Okay, so does anybody have any questions on that chart? It is very challenging when I don't have like a specific example or a specific person to kind of like go off of. So this question is, I would say, definitely more specific about losing fat and gaining muscle at the same time, because this is something that I would like to sit down with you and kind of go over your in-body and talk to you like more about that. Okay, so if you do have more specific questions on how we could do that, message me after this and let's set something up. All right, so my next question that I have is it okay to eat carbs at night if I work out in the evening? And the simple answer is yes. Your body doesn't store the carbs as fat just because it's dark outside. There is no magic clock on the inside of your body that says it is 8 p.m. and it's time to stop using your carbs as fuel, which is exactly what our body does. The carbs are used as fuel for your workouts and it actually helps you recover after we have all these hard workouts. It helps your muscle recovery so it can continue to grow. So, strategic carbs around training, like pre and post workout, help with energy and strength and muscle repair. So, I would say that it is pretty crucial after your workout, after your nighttime workout, to consume some carbs. So, what are the best quick meals or snacks for busy days that support muscle growth? I'm just going to copy and paste these as well in the chat. And I can ramble some of them off. I hope all of you guys got the recipe book as well. Those are a little bit more in-depth recipes, but these I listed are kind of like more quick options, like yogurt and berries, more so Greek yogurt that has a higher protein count, hard-boiled eggs and fruit, hard-boiled eggs. And edamame that has been a favorite in this house lately. We actually go to Aldi and we buy the already shelled edamame because the others are just too inconvenient for me. But they already have the already shelled edamame frozen at Aldi, and the protein in the serving sizes is out of this world. So I highly recommend you get a bag or three of those, stock up. Turkey wraps on the low carb tortillas. Cottage cheese and pineapples. Cottage cheese is always a staple in my diet. Every single morning I have it. Tuna packets, those never go out of style. We've been doing a lot of the Simple Mills crackers. I know that they are definitely a little bit pricier, but they are a lot healthier and they actually make me feel a lot better than some of these like pita crackers and more quick crackers that we see. Rotisserie chicken and the pre-made grilled chicken are always my lazy girl hack and quesadillas I've been making for Issa and myself lately. I'll buy the already made grilled chicken packages from Target or Jewel and kind of just throw that in some tortillas with some cheese and even some refried beans I've been making us. And that's been a big hit and it's super convenient and it takes me maybe less than 5 minutes because it's already made. And then frozen protein waffles for breakfast, another staple here. We are really big on the Kodiak cake brand. Um, is that what it was called? Kodiak cakes? Yeah, but we're really big on that brand. So those are just some super quick and easy options. Um, my next question is, what should I eat before and after a workout to support muscle growth? So I always say, this is a big one. If you're a super early morning workout person, like 5 a.m., 6 a.m., and you cannot stomach a meal, I would say don't force it. Definitely don't force it. I'm one of those people. I don't like to eat early in the morning. I just make sure that my post-workout meal really counts. So I really do it big on the post-workout meal if I can't consume something beforehand. So eating something balanced, like 1 or 2 hours before your workout with some protein or carbs like chicken, rice, eggs, and toast, protein shake with banana before a workout. And then afterwards, that 1 to 2 hour post-workout is where you go again, protein and carbs to aid in the recovery of the muscles that you just broke down. So think of like a protein shake or a turkey sandwich, Greek yogurt with fruit, or like a full dinner, like an actual sit-down dinner would be nice. A lot of people also get tied up on the timing of when to consume your meals after your workouts. Like, should it be right after you walk out of the door? Should you be chugging a protein shake? And I would say that the timing isn't as important as actually just consuming those calories. So, if it's worth it for you to get home, shower, settle down, and make a nice home cooked meal instead of consuming a protein shake, that is definitely more beneficial for you than, trying to fit it into that quick little window that they say that you have. So not as important as timing. And this one wasn't like a question. I think I already touched about this, but what happens if I don't eat enough while trying to build muscle, which some of you might experience this month while you're going really hard in the gym, going heavier and pushing yourself a little bit more, is you might feel a little bit more tired and weaker, and you might have a little bit more poor recovery. So you might be more intensely sore than like you have been in the past because you need to be eating a little bit more. So those are definitely signs that you're working hard in the gym, but your body needs to be fueled properly to get that proper recovery to sustain that muscle growth. So just take note on how you're feeling this month too. Check in with yourself after your workouts. And if you're having a tougher time recovering because you're pushing yourself a little bit more, maybe it's time to increase some calories. All right, my next question that we actually talked about this morning, and this was on supplements. Do I need to take supplements like protein powder or creatine, and or can I just get everything from food? Which, of course, yes, that is your answer. Yes, you could get all the nutrients, all the macros, all the micros directly from food. But I know it is not always that easy to get it. So these are supplements and they just help fill in the gaps. So food always comes first and supplements fill in the gaps. They're definitely not necessary, but they are awesome tools to help get you there to your goals. So let's see, creatine. Creatine was a really hot topic that we were talking about this morning. I personally don't have much experience with creatine. I maybe have taken it 7, 8 years ago, but nothing too consistent. But recently, creatine has been like exploding with the research in women and all of the benefits that it has for muscle growth, especially for women directly over 40 years old. So when you do get a chance, maybe Google that research that has been coming out. But I've been talking to a lot of the members too that have been taking creatine, actually our Hustle creatine, and they said that it has helped them so much in the gym, like get that extra push. It just helps them get that extra energy that they need in the gym. So it doesn't, this is the biggest myth as well. Everybody said that it makes them feel bloated. So we were kind of talking about why it actually makes you feel bloated this morning, and it's more so because the muscle cells are pulling water into those cells, and it's not actually storing fat. So a lot of people panic and think that they are gaining fat when it's kind of just water retention, and they kind of give up on it before giving it a fair chance or actually being able to see those benefits. And the biggest thing with creatine for it to see any benefits is consistency, which is the answer to everything is consistency. So one of the members actually yesterday told me if you just push past that first week of feeling uncomfortable or bloated, you're going to get all the benefits of it. So that's kind of a fun fact, and that was her personal experience. Um, but just 3 to 5 grams of protein of creatine per day and taken consistently, not so much about the timing, is where you're going to get that the benefits from that. I did write some other supplements down that are worth considering, but definitely not required, which is magnesium, something that helps you sleep. Of course, that will help you with recovery. Fish oil that helps with your joints, so that prevents you from injuries in the gym. And vitamin D, most of us, if not all of us, are deficient, so that always helps with everything. Um, and then electrolytes. A lot of people have questions on electrolytes, which is super not necessary unless you are training hard and sweating a lot and possibly even fasting. That's why you might need some electrolytes. All right, so those are my nutrition questions that I have, and I have just a few more to touch on about training, just a handful on training that I came up with. And the first one is, should I lift heavier weights with fewer reps or lighter weights with more reps to tone and build muscle? So should you go heavier weights with fewer reps, or should you go lighter weights with more reps? That has been a common question the last month or so, and I would like to say that both of these methods work in building muscle. Um, of course, the lower range and the heavier weights supports strength and muscle growth the most, but you definitely will get some muscle growth with the lighter weights and higher reps schemes. Okay. So this is kind of how I classified it. Heavier weights, fewer reps, that's the best for strength and muscle growth. Moderate weights, moderate reps, it's best for muscle endurance. And then the lighter weights and the higher reps, it can help you build some endurance, but it's more for like fat burn and stuff. So that's more of the 20-25 rep range. The next one was actually I got a question today was I sit at a desk all day and how does it affect my muscle goals? A lot of us do have desk jobs. A lot of us sit down um, all day, not fun. But if you do have that kind of desk job, it is super important that you prioritize, movement and your strength training when you can. Like try to get up hourly. I know you probably all heard these tips before. Try to get up hourly, walk after meals when possible, push your water more. That kind of forces you to get up and go to the bathroom more often. So you have to push yourself and find ways to stay moving throughout your day, unfortunately. Little things. Let's see. The next one is if I'm only working out 2 to 3 days a week at the gym, what else can I do to keep muscle building momentum, especially without weights at home? All right. This was my last question that I actually just got not too long ago. It was also a question that we talked about this morning. But I was thinking about it, and there is just so much that you could do outside of the gym to support your muscle growth, and it doesn't always have to be a workout, which is crazy to think about. Um, you know, Prioritizing your recovery actually helps so much with your muscle growth outside of the gym. Let's see what I had written down. Yep, yep. You're so much okay. Body weight strength at home. You got to focus on the quality of your movements. So body weight strength at home. Um, Grab a bench for Bulgarian split squat. So pretty much doing the things that you hate doing. You got to force yourself to do them at home and challenge yourself a little bit more, but focus on the quality of your movements. So grab a chair for Bulgarian split squats. Make your traditional push-ups harder if they aren't already hard enough for you. So put yourself on an incline, throw some tempo reps in there. So challenge yourself on the body weight movements. You don't always need weights at home. Just get some movement in. Something is better than nothing. And all of the hot topic right now is rucking and weighted vests. So that definitely might be something beneficial too, is going on some long walks and Investing in a weighted vest. Amazon has a lot of nice ones. And let's see, mobility. You have core work. My mother-in-law just got here. She's calling for Isabella. I'm sorry. And the last little bit that I wanted to say is that you don't need equipment or hours a day to make an impact on your health and muscle growth. You just need to be consistent. And the little things that you do at home will add up in the end for bigger results. Oh, kind of like sped through that, especially at the end. Does anybody have any questions? Anybody at all? Now I'm looking at your chat. I'm sorry, Diana. Do I weigh my chicken? I have weighed my chicken for years. I've weighed my chicken for so many years that I kind of just now know how much chicken weighs just by eyeing it out. So I would suggest to take some time to weigh your food and get an accurate representation of how many grams or ounces these things visually look like. So you could get more comfortable with this and not be a slave to your food scale forever. But having a visual is definitely one of the best things that you could do, just to educate yourself too on what the portion sizes look like. And how many ounces per meal I would shoot for. Usually they say like 4 ounces, but if you're someone that's really trying to up your protein and you have, hard time getting it in with snacks and stuff, go heavier on your main entrees. So shoot for like 6 to 8 ounces on your entrees with the protein. That's with chicken, that's with ground beef, that's with, turkey. I would shoot for 6 to 8 ounces for women. And Mike, you shoot high. We have a lot of protein for you, Mike. We got to fill some in. So you shoot for like 12 ounces per meal. Can you eat too much protein per meal? Never. Yes, you definitely can. Has anybody ever been to Fogo de Chao? Mhm. Yeah, you definitely can. Yes. Any tips for sticking with nutrition while on vacation? Yeah. Oh, that's a good one. I mean, when you're on vacation, it depends on what kind of vacationer you are. Are you like a foodie vacationer or you are a experienced touristy, I'm going to stay busy all day, convenience foods type of vacationer? There are two very different vacationers. Anthony's definitely the very food heavy focused. And I like to stay busy. So I guess that's why we're good for each other. But I would say if you are the more foodie heavy vacationer, is to look ahead and plan where you guys are going and take a look at the menu and kind of scope out your healthier options. Hold on really fast.
Yeah, no, she's
All right. So I would definitely take some time to check out the menu and kind of check out your options beforehand. Stay busy while you're on vacation. Don't focus so much on the food. And if you have to, you know, I always stick with my safe, convenient options, which happen to be something like Chipotle, because I know that that place is somewhere that I could always go to that will hit my macros. And if I'm out somewhere, and there's no Chipotle and we're just going out to like a regular dinner, I just always keep it simple and safe. I always go for like a grilled option and a veggie and a protein. So I always just stick safe. I always just stay safe. And if you don't want to stay safe and you want to get crazy because you're on vacation, just get some extra steps in. I always come back way lighter in Disney and I eat way less healthy because we're getting so much more steps in. So just up your activity a little bit more on your vacation, I would say. All right, what next? What next? Convenience. Yeah, exactly, Lee. So you got to get double orders of Chipotle and fill them up with those boys. That's different. You got to keep them fed protein round the clock. All right, let's see. Regarding protein supplements, is there an acceptable percentage in your daily intake you should shoot for if food isn't available? Ooh, that's a good question. Let me think more about that. Protein supplement, is there acceptable percentage? That's a good question. I wouldn't say that it's more so of a percentage. I would say that it's more so how your body feels and like how you metabolize these foods. Like if you're somebody that really doesn't do well with like a lot of the sweeteners or the artificial stuff and it just makes you feel like garbage, it's like it's that time to kind of tone it down. Am I running out of time? No, I have 10 minutes left. It's kind of that time to like tone it down. So kind of check in with how you're feeling after these meals, or, with a lot of the powders and stuff. Um, I wouldn't say that there's so much of a percentage though that you should kind of shoot for. I feel like that's kind of like you're studying too much into it. Yeah, don't look too much into it. What else? Any other questions? Anything else? And
There's,
like I said, if you guys
there's
have
like a,
there's a
you want to try to get all your proteins and your macros in.
But she doesn't eat fish.
Right, yeah, I mean, I didn't want to come out like thin. So I'm trying to find like, is there such thing as having too much, putting too much of your protein through the supplements versus taking them through the
no.
food?
No, that's not a thing. It's just totally depending on how you feel.
But I mean, she came in with some really good ideas that I can put into my lunches, you know?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot in that cookbook too. It's more so like the convenience and fast
So
things.
I can make like some protein pancakes because we got that protein.
Make
Yeah,
some for all of us. Make the protein pancakes for all of us.
throw one of those in my lunch. 'Cause those things are pretty high.
Yeah, so if any of you guys have questions, more specific questions like on macros and stuff, and we want to do macro breakdowns, bring your in-body with you to like a meeting with me. Let's sit down, let's go over all the things and break down all the things for this next month. I would love to sit down with you guys before the end of this week, if possible, maybe tomorrow or Friday if you're in, just so we can get you on the right track for, because June's gonna fly. So I want to make sure you guys get the most out of this month. Um, and nutrition is really the biggest missing link here, and it's the hardest challenge, and it's hard to do alone. So it's always nice to have a second pair of eyes on things. Awesome. What's the best way to message you to set up a meeting? Well,
Recipes too.
let's do the hustle hotline. Let's keep it easy. Yeah, let's do the hustle hotline. The hustle hotline. Perfect. All right. So Lee and Jen, I'm gonna put you guys down and I'm gonna message you guys then too. Okay. Cool.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you guys. Of course, message me any other questions you might have to. Shoot me an email, whatever it might be. Thank you all so much for tuning in. This was a great little turnout, and I'm really excited for this month with you guys. Let's build some muscle, all right? All right. Have a great night, guys, and I'll see you guys soon, okay?
Okay.
See ya.